So what we were doing, we kind of all last week is understanding sort of what sort of angles we have, same side interior, corresponding alternate interior. We had those five new ones. We were still dealing with vertical angles. All the old stuff was still applying. And then all we did on Friday is now the idea that if we kind of look at these two lines right here, while they appear to be parallel, we wouldn't necessarily know that if we didn't know some information about them. All right. So one of the things that we would, and then the same with these. All right. These two lines appear to be parallel, but what sort of theorems would prove that based upon our angles? So when you look at letter A, so these are really, every single answer here is going to be line L and M are parallel, or line A and B are parallel, or we don't have enough information to prove either one of them is parallel. So those are pretty much our three options as we go through these. So if you look at letter A is basically saying angle 2 is supplementary to angle 3. So if we find those two angles, all right, so here's angle 2, here's angle 3. What we want to identify then is we can kind of ignore this line over here. The two lines that we're trying to prove are parallel are A and B. That makes this yellow one our transversal. All right. So if this satisfies one of our five new theorems here, that 2 and 3 are supplementary, then we would say, yeah, angle or line A and line B are in fact parallel to each other. So after the weekend, see if we remember this, what kind of angles are angle 2 and 3? So now we're picking from vertical, alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side exterior, and corresponding. Okay, those are our options. So as we look at these, Julia, what do we got there? Okay, so these are same side interior angles. So when I read the second sentence here, justify your conclusion, we do want to write in these are same side interior angles. Same side interior angles are supposed to be what? Congruent or supplementary? Remember that? Supplementary. Since these are told to you that they are supplementary, then that does say, let's finish that statement off, that we do in fact have parallel lines, and those lines are line A. You're going to use that little parallel symbol, which are the slanted parallel line segments, is parallel to B. All right, so we're going to say which ones are parallel, and then you are going to state the theorem. All right. Okay, so this next one, you're going to find angle 10 and angle 6. So here's angle 10. Here is angle 6. So now if you kind of understand what we're doing, those two angles are created by lines L and M. Those are the ones we're trying to prove are parallel. And then our transversal in this instance is line A. All right, as we look at these, aren't these also same side interior angles? And aren't they also supplementary because they add up to be 180? All right, so because of that, we're pretty much writing the same exact thing that we said before, except now the two lines that are parallel are the ones that are being cut by that red line, the two yellow lines. Those are lines L. So you're going to put line L is parallel to line M for the same exact reason. Same side interior angles. Add that word in there. Are supplementary. Okay, let's do one more, then I'll probably leave you those last two to see if we can kind of figure out what this is asking us here. So go to letter C. Find angles 9 and 1. So angle 9 is right here. Angle 1 is right here. Those are created by this line. Both of them are created by this line here. Oh, do that. And then angle 1 is created by that line. 9 is created by that line. So what we're testing is, are L and M parallel? Those are the two lines we're trying to identify if they're parallel or not. All right. We then look at those two angles, angle 1, angle 9. This is a new one. These are not same side interior. What are these two angles to each other? Ben? Good. These are corresponding angles. They're both upper left-hand corner in this set. Number 9 is the upper left-hand corner in this set of angles. Are corresponding angles congruent if we have parallel lines? Yeah. All right. So this we could say line L is parallel to line M because corresponding angles are congruent. All right. All right, so real quick, take a few minutes, look at letter D, letter E, find those angles, compare them, see what you think. And if you think that proves something, then go ahead and write what theorem you use to actually justify that. Okay, maybe we should talk about 4 together. Nobody has it yet. All right, go to letter D, or not number 4, letter D, which is 4 and 11. All right, so let's find angle 4. So here's angle 4. Angle 4 is created by this line here and this line right here. All right. Then if I go to angle 11, so angle 11 is over here. That is created, I'll do it in blue, by this line here and this line here. When we look at those, so here's what I'm seeing, which I can kind of understand. Some people are saying alternate exterior angles, all right, because you're kind of looking whether you consider this the inside of the parallel lines or this the inside of parallel lines. Aren't those both exterior angles? They're both outside of it, so it makes sense. Your issue is when you start saying alternate, so if I use the word alternate, if this is angle 4, doesn't its alternate interior angle have to be then right on the opposite side of this red line? So isn't angle 4's alternate exterior angle, isn't that angle 5? That's its alternate exterior angle. If you look at angle 11, let me use a different color here, green. What angle is angle 11's alternate? I don't have it numbered, do I? Isn't this angle right here its alternate exterior angle? So when we do these here, I said there's always going to be 3 options. You can say, yeah, they're parallel. A and B are parallel, L and M are parallel, or you could say there's not enough information here to justify this. That's actually how we need to write down letter D. These aren't corresponding. They're not made by the same lines, okay? Isn't this green angle made by the blue lines? Do those blue lines have anything to do with the angle 4 here? No. And then the red lines make angle 4, but those red lines don't do anything with angle 11. All right. So in this case, the way we would write that is there is not enough info here. You would not say any of those lines are parallel. Those are not vertical. Those are not any of those 6 or 7 things that we've been labeling. So maybe I shouldn't have started you with that one until we've done one at least. All right, 1 and 3, not a tricky one. 1 and 3, you can write a set of angles. You can say one of the lines sets are parallel. So now do letter E. This one we should have more success with, I would hope. Okay, first things first. Angle 1, just in terms of the kind of angle or types of angles these are. Wait, did I say 1 and 3? Sorry, 1 and 3. All right, so if we look at angles 1, angle 3, what are those? Same side interior, same side exterior, corresponding, alternate interior, all those things. All right, what are these guys? Stop. So if these are our parallel lines, this one's exterior. Isn't 3 on the inside? Okay, so these are corresponding angles. And are corresponding angles supposed to be congruent? And they are. All right. Now, we still want to make sure we know which lines are parallel. This is your transversal right here. So the two lines that's intersecting that would be parallel are lines A and B. So you would say line A is parallel to line B because corresponding angles are congruent. Okay. All right. A and B, do those real quick. Same idea, pretty straightforward. We haven't, well, yeah, one of them we haven't used. So same thing. Say yes, no, state the theorem that proves it, one way or the other. Okay, letter A. Joe L. What do you got, Joe? Good. So this is a yes. Lines A and B are in fact parallel. And again, understand we didn't put the little arrows there. That's when we tell you that they are. So those deliberately are not there, but we can make a determination that yes, they are. When I give you these two angles here, all right, why did you say that it was yes, Joe? Good. So those are alternate interior angles. Add one little thing here. And alternate interior angles are what, Joe? Yeah, so they need to be congruent. You see that they in fact are congruent. That tells us if this transversal is intersecting line A and B, line A and B would have to be parallel to each other for this to be true. All right. All right, letter B, Mo. What do you have, Mo? Yeah. Good. This is also, well, maybe yes, actually. Not. Okay, why'd you put yes? Okay, so here's our transversal. That part is correct. And same side interior angles. So let's write that down. And what are those supposed to be, Mo? Good. Those are supposed to be supplementary. So that's beautiful, Mo. I love that. Are these guys, in fact, supplementary? Mo, are they supplementary? Close. Let's add these guys up. So if I did 85 plus 85, we're going to get what, 170? So are they supplementary? No, they're close. So we would actually say no, because same side interior angles are supposed to be supplementary, and that's not what's playing out here. Okay. So right explanation, same side interior angles are supplementary, but in this case, the 85, 85 don't add up to be 180. Okay. Okay, this is what we should be pretty good at now. Some of us, walking around, have already started these, if not done with these. Take a couple minutes. This is what all those remote questions I left you last week when we were on our own dealt with this idea. So identify what theorem you're looking at. Again, it's one or the other. Those are either supplementary to each other. So you're going to either add them up, set them equal to 180, or they're congruent to each other. You're just going to set them equal to each other. It's a 50-50 guess pretty much. All right. Once they're set up, then you're just going to go through, solve that equation. And let's see what we remember. It's interesting to see work too, because people are doing these a little differently with some things. We find a lot of different options to go after these. Okay, letter A. Jada, what'd you do, Jada? Yeah. Good. So she said yes, and then she said same side exterior angles are supplementary. Now, Jada, bit of an overachiever, right, Ella? Right? So you don't necessarily have to write this in this. So I didn't ask you to write that. So if you didn't write it, you don't necessarily have to put that down in this instance. But that is the reason she can do what she's going to do next in terms of adding those up, setting them equal to 180. So these are parallel lines because these are same side exterior angles. And then she said that those are supplementary. So she added those up. And when she added those up, she said she's going to set those equal to 180. All right. Now, when we go through and solve that, and these equations, hopefully we're pretty good at this point. What'd you get then, Jada? Good. And most people were doing it that way. All right. 100% correct. That's the way I would have done it myself. Okay. However, Ben, what did you do, Ben?
I found out that the left side of my B is corresponding to the left side of angle A, which is 110.
Good. So stop right there. He said that he understood that these two guys right here were corresponding angles. All right. So this has to be what, Ben?
110.
Good. So that was 110. And then what'd you use that for?
So then I found out the right side was 70.
Good. So then from here, he understood that this angle had to be 70 degrees.
And then so 4x plus 10 equals 70.
Because these are what kind of angles, Ben? Do you remember what they're called? Sort of. Somebody help Ben with what these are actually called.
Oh.
Good. These are vertical, right? They're across from each other. And then he understood vertical angles are congruent to each other. So he did it that way. So he found this angle here. That was 70. And then if you now understand, he's going to subtract that over. All right. Did you still get 15? Yeah. So just a different way of kind of approaching that. All right. So again, the more tools you kind of have and all these theorems we remember, you just have some different options to work through. All right. So good. Both of you good. All right. Letter B. Let's see here. Lily. What'd you do, Lily? Good. And again, we don't necessarily have to write that in this case. The previous ones we do. It's just in the directions I didn't. But we do want to understand these are alternate interior. And those are what, Lily? Good. Those are congruent. So your equation was what? Good. So those are when we can set them equal to each other, and then we're just working our way through solving that equation. All right. So we'll do that. All right. So 14 is that 2x minus 66. Add your 66 over. If my pen will let me do, there we go. And then we get our 2x to equal what? 80. And then x is what, Lily? Good. And then we should get x to be a 40. All right. All right. And then our last ones here. Come on, you. Let's see here. Monica. What'd you do, Monica? Good. She added them together. And she set them equal to 180. Again, we don't have to write it down, but just so we know, what kind of angles are these, Monica? Good. Those are same side interior angles. Same side interior angles are supplementary. So she added them up, set them equal to the 180, and then she went through that and solved. All right, combine your like terms. Subtract that 12 over. And what did you get, Monica? Good. And then 168 divided by 8 is 21. Okay. All right. Like I said, we'll finish this today, and then now you're going to get some homework. I want to do number 1 real quick, and then the rest will be on your own. Have this done for tomorrow. I should have said something sooner, man. We got noticed sooner. Yeah. Okay, try number one real quick. Just a little different because now it's actual, if you remember, parallelogram from your math one days. It's a little bit more involved, but same stuff we just got done doing. And actually all those shapes are what we start next. So yeah, you can put, so AD is a line. So yeah, that's the line. Okay, let's see what we got here. So you are told that angle 1 here and then angle 3 here are congruent to each other. All right, so that's given to you. Again, you don't necessarily have to state it, but if we look at this right here, what kind of angles are these of all those options we've been talking about, Assad?
So A and C would be vertical, and B would be parallel.
Let's do this first. Just what kind of angles are these? Are they same side interior, same side exterior, alternate interior? Getting warmer. So definitely alternate. Okay, so those should be alternate interior angles. What we want to know then is the alternate refers to your transversal. So we want to know what's the transversal. Interior refers to the lines that are actually parallel to each other. Okay? And that's what we're kind of identifying. What lines are parallel to each other? So if we look at angle 3 is created by this line here, the segment, I suppose we should say, and then this segment right here. And then angle 1 is created by this segment that again goes through the middle, as well as this line here. So when we now kind of understand what we are looking at here, and a number of people had it that I could tell, and we ask now what lines are parallel to each other. Caden, what did you have, Caden?
I have lines A and B are parallel to B and C.
Good. And the way we would write that, you're going to put A, D, to name a line. In this case, it's actually a line segment. You need 2 letters, unless it's just the little letter identifying it like A and B in the previous ones. Then you're going to put the little segment above it. So this means line segment AD was parallel to, and then BC. So you put BC and then segment notation on top of it. I did see some people call this DA. Also totally fine. If you remember, the order doesn't matter. Oops. Yeah. As long as it's the same letters. The only one that matters is the ray. So either one of these ideas should be fine. All right. These were the alternate interior angles. They are inside of AD and BC. So that's the 2 lines that are then parallel to each other. Okay. All right. Other than that, this should be very much in line with what we did today, what we've been doing all last week. So the rest of this is homework. If you look at your number 3, I printed that and then realized as I was looking this over this morning to kind of see which ones, if any, I wanted to do together, that I copy and pasted one that was right on top of this. So don't worry about your number 3. It's hard to discern what's going on in your number 3. You can cross number 3 out. But then the rest of these then is homework that I'll collect tomorrow. Okay, and then if you have any questions on it, just let me know before I collect it. And then we will do a little online quiz on this. That again, you'll have some opportunity. If you miss it, you can continue to do it. But as a kind of way to wrap this up, and then we'll move on to something a little bit different in 5.7. Okay, and that's tomorrow. Okay. No, I did not. Thank you. Yeah, right.